You ever stop and think about how the people protecting us online actually hunt for threats? I mean, the internet is just chaos. Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on their secret weapon. It's a blueprint called the OSI Model, and we're going to see how it's used in the high-stakes world of a security operations center. Let's get into it.
So, picture this. You're browsing, maybe doing some online shopping, and somewhere out there a cyber attack is launched. Who's actually on the front lines? Who is watching the digital walls to keep the bad guys out? Well, there is a dedicated team working around the clock in what's basically a digital command center.
And that command center has a name, the SOC, which stands for Security Operations Center. This place, it's the absolute heart of an organization's cyber defense. It's the nerve center where the battle against digital threats is fought every single day.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. You know how a building might have security guards? Well, a SOC is exactly that, but for an organization's entire digital world. They're the centralized team of pros who act as the first line of defense, the command center that coordinates the whole fight against cyber attacks.
Their mission really boils down to three key things, and it's a cycle that never stops. First, they monitor everything, all the activity on the network. Then, they detect anything that looks even a little bit suspicious or out of the ordinary. And finally, they respond, taking immediate action to shut down threats. Monitor, detect, respond. That's the mantra.
Okay, so that's the real question, right? A modern network is mind-bogglingly complex. You've got billions of bits of data flying around every single second. How in the world does one analyst sift through all that noise to find that one tiny signal that screams attack?
The answer, believe it or not, is actually pretty elegant. They don't just stare into the digital abyss and hope for the best. Nope, they use a blueprint, a structured map that gives them a logical way to look at every single piece of communication. And that map, that universal blueprint, is the OSI model. Now, you might have heard of this in a networking class, but for a SOC analyst, this isn't just theory. It's a hands-on, practical, everyday tool for understanding how data gets from point A to point B. So the model breaks this whole complicated process down into 7 manageable layers. Every single thing you do online, sending an email, watching a video, that data travels down this stack and then back up on the other side. And here's the kicker for an analyst. Each layer offers different clues, a different hunting ground for threats. All right, so let's go on a little threat hunt. An alert just popped up, a user says they got a weird email, and yep, they clicked a link. We're going to follow the analyst as they use this blueprint to figure out exactly what just happened.
Our hunt starts right at the top, Layer 7, the application layer. This is where the user actually interacts with stuff. Their email client, their web browser, the place they click that link. And because it's so close to us humans, it's a major target for attacks like phishing.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, the blueprint just talks about protocols like HTTP. But on the other side, the analyst on the hunt is asking real questions. Was that email a phishing attempt? They dig into the logs and, they see a DNS request. That's what turns a website name into an IP address, going to a known malicious site. Game on.
Okay, let's drop down to Layer 4, the transport layer. Think of this as the network's traffic cop. After the user's browser connected to that sketchy site, a file started downloading. This layer is all about how that data gets delivered and what digital doorway, or port, it used.
So the blueprint talks about TCP and UDP, but the analyst sees the attacker's next move. That file that was downloaded, it's not just sitting there. It's now trying to communicate outbound from the network. The analyst spots it trying to open a connection on some weird, non-standard port. That is a classic sign of malware trying to call home to its master.
Next stop on our hunt, Layer 3, the network layer. This layer is the Internet's global postal service. It's all about addresses, IP addresses, and making sure data packets get to their destination. So for us, the big question is, where is this malware trying to call home to?
This really shows you how they think. The blueprint is just about routing, but for the analyst, an IP address is a fingerprint. So they grab that destination IP address from the malware, run it through their threat intelligence feeds, and bingo, it's a direct match for a known command and control server. The threat is now 100% confirmed. So after that quick little hunt, it becomes crystal clear why this whole OSI model thing isn't just for textbooks. For that SOC analyst, this blueprint was the key. It let them turn a vague alert about a suspicious email into a clear, step-by-step investigation of a confirmed threat.
I mean, look at what it really gives them.
It's a systematic checklist, right? They can move methodically from the user's click at layer 7 down to the malware's connection at layer 4 and finally to the attacker's server at layer 3. It also creates a common language. When they tell the network team, hey, we need to block this IP at layer 3, everybody knows exactly what that means. It's all about bringing structure to the chaos.
And that right there is the biggest takeaway. This isn't just about passing some certification test. For the people who are actually on the front lines of cyber defense, understanding this model is one of the most practical, powerful tools they have. It's how they turn a flood of data into a real, solid defense.
But this all leads to a pretty interesting final thought. The OSI model has been the go-to map for decades. But our digital world is just exploding with complexity, with AI and IoT devices everywhere. Is this blueprint still going to be enough? What's going to be the next essential map for the digital defenders on the battlefields of tomorrow? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for watching.